Hi everybody, Farmer Joel here. Welcome to another video. It is early July and things are getting really bushy around here. As you can see, the garden is really taking off. We got a ton of things in the ground. Everything is getting big and bushy. The high tunnels are full of crops, getting all the way up almost as tall as me in many places. Pasture grasses are high, wildflowers are coming up. It's just a really busy, bushy time of the year. Lots of sunshine, long days. We're getting plenty of rainfall, so there's lots of growth and there's just a lot for us to stay on top of. So I'm just gonna show you around, show you how everything's growing, and you can see for yourself what it's like in the very middle of summer here on the farm. So let's go see. Here in the flower garden, we've got flowers really coming in strong. They're really just starting to come in. We're excited to have a lot more of those in the coming weeks. But there's a lot going on in the garden. We've got older crops like cabbages heading up. We've got young crops just planted. We've got beds that have recently been turned over and are ready for planting. And we've got high tunnels full of vining and trellised crops up to the ceiling almost. A lot of turning over beds, pulling out old crops, planting new crops. These are cabbages for fall time. A lot of things from the early season like this cilantro are going to seed. Zucchinis and squash are just pumping out little zucchinis. You can see a ton of them in there. Peas from the springtime are kind of getting a couple more picks and then they'll be out of here. We've got beets looking lush and big. Younger beets over here. Broccoli still flowering. We'll have that for a little bit longer before it's gone. Celeries, onions are bulbing up. Eggplants, lots of carrots, the garlic over there, half of them still have their scapes on them. Basil, tons of basil. If you like pesto, we're gonna have a lot of basil this year. More squash over there and beets, younger tomatoes in that high tunnel, older tomatoes in this high tunnel. We've got fennel plants bulbing up over here. Pepper plants are still kind of small, they got off to a slower start. Younger carrots, kale beds, younger onions for fall, more older onions for this season. They are looking so clean. I'm really proud of those. Lettuce mix as usual. Lots of things growing in the garden right now. It's quite pretty. From up above, I'll show you a higher view so you can really see the layout, but things are really clean around here. The team has been working super hard to keep all the weeds at bay, and these onions are a really good example of how well they're doing. You know, onions are often called the dirty crop because they're so hard to stay weeded. They don't have a lot of canopy to shade out the weeds, but look at these babies. Perfectly straight rows, almost completely weed free. The team has been really diligent staying on top of that. That's been the main push this season, is to stay on top of the basic things. And man, do these onions look good. Hardly any weeds in there. And the whole garden is like that, really. So let me show you a view from above. Here I am on the side. I'm just gonna throw the camera way up as high as I can to give you a bird's eye view, but look how clean and tidy it is right now. I'm super proud of the team. This garden just looks so good. And to be this far into the season, past the 4th of July, past the solstice, and still have this much control over the weeds and the timeliness on the plantings is really awesome. They have been super dedicated. They've been working really hard right up till Friday evening to make sure they stay on top of things, and it is really paying off. It looks beautiful out there, as you can see, and it's just going to carry us through the second half of the season really well to have this much under control at this point in the season. So I am super proud of them. They've worked really hard to achieve this, and it's looking really good, as you can see. So make sure if you see them, you congratulate them because they have been really dedicated to this. Down here in the lower field, we've got these tarps laid down. Those are oculating, which means just killing off all the grass underneath, preparing the ground for next year to open it up, create beds, and start growing more produce there. But we've also punched holes all throughout the tarp, and we've planted our winter squash in there. So So you can see the winter squash plants are doing good. Zero weed competition. We've got drip tape running under there to keep them nice and watered. But winter squash for the fall is coming in strong down here in the lower garden. And next year you'll see even more crops here too. So that's exciting. Around it you can see the field is filling up with wildflowers. We've got a lot of black-eyed Susans. They come in around this time of year. The daisies are on the way out, but there's quite a bit of other small blooms. The clover's coming in. Goldenrod's starting to head up. Whole bunch of things down there, and it looks really pretty. So good time for wildflowers. Out here on the pasture, almost everything is flowering and seeding. The grasses are tall, up to my chest in some places. There's the cows, the dairy cows down there. But you can see we've got a lot of really good growth, and the flowers are coming in. It's a really pretty time to be out in the pasture, but as you walk through the pasture, you just get covered in grass seed, really, especially if it's wet and dewy. The seeding is going nuts, which is good for the ground, but kind of messy when you're walking through it. On the north pasture, we've got the broiler pens running, doing their thing. This is our second to last batch of broilers. They're doing really well in this nice weather. As you can see here, they're comfortable, lounging in their pen, water and feed, doing some incredible work behind them, fertilizing the pasture. We were just talking the other day about how in this pasture would be turning all yellow pretty soon with goldenrod, but a lot of the pasture it's hard to find goldenrod. Not everywhere, it's still there, but there's some significant changes in the mix of species here after running these animals on the pasture. That's really exciting for us to see the changes. And we can always tell by what's flowering, the colors of the pasture are changing over the years. And that's exciting for us. But yeah, broiler pens still running strong. We've only got 4 going right now, but there'll be more. And if you haven't gotten your chickens, please do. Our freezers are filling up. We really need to move some birds. So buy in bulk, 10 at a time. More if you need them. It's a good time. We anticipate a big rush in the fall as people kind of stock up for winter. That's usually when we sell a lot of the birds. So if you want to beat the rush, now would be a really good time to pick up 10 birds. We'll bring them to the drop sites right to you. Go grab your freezer and fill it up with good meat for the coming seasons. And of course, we've got the egg layers doing their thing every morning out here hunting and pecking through the tall grass. As you can see, the grass is quite a bit taller than it was before, even after the cows have come through here. But they are laying us a lot of eggs and doing their chicken thing. I'm out here in the morning right now, and you can see them all hanging out on the nest boxes, waiting their turn to go in and lay eggs. They just step inside these nest boxes to lay their eggs. The eggs roll out into this front section where they can't be pecked. They stay a lot cleaner. But they're all waiting their turn to lay their eggs. Getting their food, their water, and then charging out to find what they can find. Pretty happy birds, pretty comfortable. Lots of jungle to look and hunt and peck through. It's hard to find birds living in more comfortable conditions than this. They love it. And the eggs show. The yolks are deep yellow, super nutritious. It's great. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Everything is just rolling right along in the midpoint of the season. We are feeling a little bit tired, but we are on top of things, and it feels like we're in a really good spot heading into the second half of the season. We will have probably extra produce going into the second half of the season, so please tell your friends, let them know. Even if they're not members, they can still shop week to week in the store, but becoming a member is great too. There's perks to that. Buying in bulk, the meat would be really helpful as well, so we can empty out some of our freezers. We have a lot of chicken right now, and we're running out of freezer space. So if you want to buy 10, 20, fill your freezers, that would be super helpful for us. And beef. we got to sell a couple more cows before the end of the season. So if you've gotten one in the past and you want another one, or if you know somebody who might be interested, please let them know so that we can get those animals all a home. And thanks for watching. We enjoy doing this work, healing the ground and feeding our community, and we hope you're enjoying the food. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for staying in touch and being directly connected to your farmer. We think it really matters to have that connection to your food source and to know exactly what kind of practices are going on to create the food for you. So thanks for staying in touch. Thanks for watching the videos, and tell your friends. See you next week.